Welcome back to the channel. We are going through the best and worst tattoo TikToks I could find. And we are starting this one off with the enemy of all scratcher tattooers, which is the cloud. The cloud tattoo is for some reason an impossible task if you're pulling out a machine for the first time. Now in your head, if you've never done a tattoo in your life, you might be like, it's just a bunch of circles with a bunch of shades. And you go, yeah, that's pretty much exactly what a cloud is. And that simplicity is exactly what makes it so difficult for these, what would I call them? Tattoo incapables? What would their politically correct term be? Yeah, the tattooer impaired? You know, any scratcher who pulls out a machine for the first time, they just struggle with these damn clouds. Every time I see a TikTok and I see clouds and I see what looks to be a residential area, I go, we're gonna see some crappy clouds. I don't know. I get it. The first time I had to do clouds, I was like, hey, how do I do this? And then a quick Google search was like, oh, like this, because obviously, this is the only way to do them. And yeah, problem solved. I don't think they're very hard. You're just really dumb and bad at tattooing. Maybe if you can't do clouds, tattooing is not for you. I feel like there's a bunch of people at home right now who are like, yeah, dude, I couldn't do clouds. That's why I don't tattoo. That is very logical. Good for you. Scratchers tend not to have that logical viewpoint. On to the next. This Virgin Mary blacked out arm, white over arm, black out tattoo thing. Cool, super cool. White on black. Very weird. I'm not hating at all. I think when it comes to experimental tattooing, putting white over black is an interesting place to be. You know, I'm here for it. I'm curious a little bit, like, do they make some whites more white? I've been curious how they actually do this, like, because it looks like there's some shade in here. So are they putting more black over the black and then whitening it out? Or are they using multiple tones of white? I don't know. Are they using gray? Who knows? Am I gonna be doing this anytime soon? Absolutely not. You couldn't pay me, how much would I wanna get paid to do a white over black tattoo like this, portrait style? At least $5 grand. And you know why? It's because I know that halfway through, I'd be like, damn it, I shouldn't have done this tattoo. So in order for me to feel that stress of being like, I'm way out of my league, that's $4 grand. $4 grand right now. Give it to me. You know, honestly, I'm gonna be like, ooh, I shouldn't be here. Now, some of you know me. Some of you have followed along for a long time. I used to participate in a sport called skydiving. You jump out of a plane by yourself, not with some jabroni attached to your back, and you jump out and you do stuff and you pull a parachute, and it's a fun sport to participate in. Most of you guys probably don't know it's a sport at all. You just think it's some activity you do on the weekends for your buddy's bachelor party. I don't know, maybe on a date. I don't know why you guys do it. You're dumb. We used to do it, me and my girlfriend, for fun. Probably have a couple hundred jumps between the two of us. And something they say in skydiving, which I think is a pretty good way to view the world, is sometimes you'd rather be on the ground wishing you were in the sky rather than being in the sky wishing you were on the ground. And in case you're too dumb to understand that, which I don't think you are, it just pretty much means that sometimes it's better to walk away when the risk is too high than it is to be in that risky situation wishing you didn't make that decision. For me, if I had to do this tattoo, I'd wish I was not in that situation halfway through this tattoo. I'd be like, hey, I wish I said no. That's why, super steep, $4,000 to make me feel that way. On to the next. I can cover my bad tats in white ink and start over. You can't. You can't do that. I'm gonna try. XD. Am I the only person on the face of the planet that doesn't know what XD means? No. Am I such an internet kid and I still don't understand 90% of lingo on the internet? Okay. Clearly, that was stupid and a joke, I think. I can cover my bad tattoos with white ink. Obviously, you cannot do that, especially to the extent of which she is talking about. Man, those are some junky looking knees and legs. These are some of the worst looking knees, legs, sleeves I've seen in a long time. I've seen a lot of bad leg sleeves, and this is like some of the worst by far. What would you do from this point on? Black out, black out. Go see a professional that does really good wind and water bars and get them to black out those legs. That is unfortunately where we are at. Yeah, this type of tattoo is kind of weird to me. I saw this and I was like, I feel like there might be some good tattoos in there stacked on top of bad tat. I cannot tell. I cannot tell what we're looking at. This is definitely gonna be a blast over leg sleeve cover up thing at some point, and it needs to be. Clearly, judging by the rest of this video and her bad like forehead face tattoos, she doesn't really care that much. I wish she did. I wish she did. I guess part of me is like, hey, there's still hope for leg sleeves that look that bad. You have to actually make the decision to get good tattoos at some point. And so like for her, it's like, hey, maybe blackout things, just make them look interesting. If she did that, you'd be like, oh, cool tattoos. On to the next. Some of the worst. Not as bad as this Jesus. Putting a Jesus on the guy's neck. Jesus in India, that looks awful. All those tattoos look awful. There's nothing here. There's nothing here. I feel like every other episode, I have to put in some of my Indian tatter people because they pop up on my screen so often. It's like, hey, look at this crappy tattoo that was done in India in the least sanitary conditions. Hey, look at that. Gross, right? I feel like that happens every single time. And every other week I have to talk about it. I hope India has like the biggest tat come up of all time. You know, it would be really cool if tatters from India were just like crushing it. Do I think that's gonna happen anytime soon? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. What's this thing? Okay, I don't know. I recorded this or I downloaded this. What does it say? I got no clue on what he's saying. Maybe this isn't India. No, it's India, for sure. I'm stupid, sorry. I apologize. It's India. On to the next. A tattoo not done in India, more than likely, Aiden Noel's tattoo. I'm so bad at names, dude. But yeah, just like, look at this. Look at the pure beauty. Look at the execution. Look at the balance between darks and lights, the negative and black. It looks amazing. Sometimes I look at tattoos like this and I go, well, that's almost perfect. Is it? Maybe. What don't I like about this tattoo? Nothing. This is a perfect tattoo. You know what's funny? The other day I got a comment and it was something along the lines of, I wonder what Kirk actually does like. And in my head I was like, bro, 99% of every other tattoo that exists that I don't show on this channel. Like, there's so many good tattoos and then there's so many incredible tattoos happening on a daily basis. I was like, that's a dumb question. Just because I'm not sitting here being like, I like this tattoo, I like this tattoo. Maybe I should do it more, but am I going to? Probably not. You know why? Because it's boring. You know, 99% of tattoos. You guys all have tattoos at home. Probably a fair majority of you guys have tattoos. I would have zero feeling about, or I'd like it, and the amount of tattoos that I don't like would be probably very few. Even the crappy ones that are like, you know, you sit at home and you're like, oh, I hate that tattoo. I'd look and be like, it's a crappy tattoo, but like, I don't dislike it. Most tattoos out there are nice. Some tattoos are amazing, and I wish you guys would all get the amazing tattoos like this one, because this is like next caliber type of tattooing to me. And honestly, like, I could tattoo the rest of my life and never do something quite as cool as this in my head. I go, yeah, beautiful. Very different style than anything I even approach, but the elegance and the strength at the same time on this tattoo is worth talking about. So yeah, what tattoos I like? This. On to the next. So we went from black and gray kitty cat to all a black kitty cat. This is a blacked out back piece with a panther as negative space. Look, this is a perfectly fine tattoo. Probably exactly what that girl from earlier should be doing to her legs, something along these lines. But that's not what's interesting to me. That's not what's interesting to me. The thing that's interesting to me about this tattoo is there's a couple things. One, I would be bored as hell if I had to black out an entire back piece like this. I would probably not finish it ever from the boredom, to be honest. It's a very beautiful idea, and I've said a lot in the past that I wish blackout artists would start putting designs or something behind the image just to make something pop and make it a little bit more interesting than just your straight black. So this is that. That's not what's interesting to me. What's interesting as me is how bored I would be doing this tattoo. Am I bored looking at it? Not necessarily. I think it looks cool. Like if this guy walked by, I'd be like, whoa, that was something. It was something worth seeing, I guess. That's how I feel about this. Very cool in its own way. Is it something I want? No. Am I glad it exists on this guy's back? Yes. I am curious where you begin and end with this blackout, because it doesn't look like they're going all the way to, I don't know. Maybe they're gonna black out the entire body and he's just gonna have a super sick panther. I don't know. We'll see. We'll have to see. Because like, where do you, I don't know. I mentioned in a previous video that I am starting to do very good priced back pieces here in Mexico. You have to fly here, get tattooed, go home, come visit me every couple months, make it a thing. I could probably do 4 hours of tattooing every single session. That's plenty for you. Most people can't handle that much. That is like one of the things going on currently. You should hop in if you are in desperate need for a back piece like the one you saw a second ago. Obviously not blackout and boring like that, but from now on, I'll be posting the back piece I want to work on. And you say, yes, I want that one. Usually they're gonna be Japanese. Occasionally they'll be American traditional, but let me know, hop in. I have an appointment. That appointment is every Monday from 11 to 4. You could get in, get tattooed, or whatever. On to the next. So this guy has probably been on my feed too many times in the past 2 weeks. I think he's absolutely obnoxious and so fun to point out how ridiculous his viewpoint is on everything. We're gonna talk about him a little bit and talk about what he's making videos about this week. Yeah, just dumb.
Me at Was a Star. This is Dmitry Evsenkov, one of the most hated tattoo artists in the world, also one of the most talented. He does really beautiful, stylized, original, conceptual pieces like this. So with a unique style like this, a lot of folks don't understand, but those who get it, get it.
So he says one of the most talented tattoo artists. What does that mean? Like, actually define what talent means to a person, because there's not anything about his tattooing I would consider talented. Like, every part of that was just bad, like lazy, sleepy, crappy. And when someone else comes on and they're like, oh, this is what talent is, and like they're not talented, you go, what the, huh? Define talent, like truthfully, because in any other aspect of the world, we can usually define what talent is, right? In basketball, you might be like, oh, this guy has this many rings. And you might be like, oh, this guy has scored this many shots. Oh, investing, this guy has made this much money. Oh, in chess, this guy has beaten these guys. Like, there's ways to define what's good and bad, and that doesn't always characterize what good talent is versus bad talent, or who's the most talented, right? Like, you want to talk about the top 5 NBA players of all time, you could throw out so many statistics and never really get to who's the best, just kind of who you think is the best. So that is kind of hard to really define what talent is at the highest level. But there's never been a world where Michael Jordan was compared to your cousin who played U12 basketball and never scored a shot. Like, that's not, talent isn't hard to define in that kind of way. So when someone says like, oh, hey, that dumb little kid who rode the bench the whole year because he doesn't care about basketball, he is very talented at basketball. No one's ever been like that and said that ever. And somehow in tattooing, this guy goes, hey, that dumb little 12-year-old who doesn't know the difference between a jump shot and a free throw is talented. Like, this is crazy. This is crazy to say that that tattoo is talent. Yeah.
I really just wanted to show you, I just read the funniest hate comment I've ever read in my entire life. First off, let's just check out how awesome this is. So original. I've seen Jesus disrespected in many ways, but this is too much. Here's the guy. That is, folks, this is a 100% genuine comment. And that's what,
again, I've always said with scratcher tattooers who find some internet success, likes does not mean anything in this world, like at all. I'm sorry. As a person who's capable of getting very many likes on things, it's a pointless and stupid pursuit. And it's also a very bad indicator of what's good versus bad. And you could take that in however many ways. You could go like, hey, Kirk, you get likes on pictures you post. I don't think they're very good. I'd be like, hey, that's fine. That might be true. That might be true. I'm not here being like, oh yeah, I get likes, so therefore I'm good. No, that is not how the world actually works. What gets likes on the internet is just sometimes things you don't expect. So either that's extremely good things or extremely bad things, and both kind of get the attention because of how polar opposite they are. But let's continue.
genuine comment, and that's what makes it so good. Traditional artists don't understand. That's fine. It's a conceptual fine art. Think of it more like painting. Also, he's just really hot and takes...
I also think that for someone to consider this fine art is like a backhanded way of validating their crappy BS and being like, this is fine art. You wouldn't understand. And it's like, hey dude, I do understand. And that's crap. And you're also like doing this weird gaslighty terminology flip thing to make your crappy looking tattoos and other crappy looking tattoos as some sort of art that we just can't conceive of. It's just so brilliant because of, you know, how little they care. I'm like, what are we talking about? Let's just shoot it straight, dude. Let's just be real for a moment, a fraction of time. Let's just take that fraction in time and say, is it good? No, it's not. Okay, let's stop calling it anything other than what it is, which is garbage.
being hot as part of his brand. Look at this photo of him tattooing. Absolute icon. Incredible. Artists like this, they even get death threats. All these traditional artists see people, contemporary artists like this, as disfiguring people in their eyes. But it's none of their business. That's some truly effing horrendous tattooing. You should be ashamed of yourself. I kind of get it. A full piece done in that style. Shout out Gav Tattoo. That is one of the most wholesome comments I've ever seen of someone grasping this new genre of tattooing. That's incredible.
What's there to grasp? I don't know. I'll never understand it. Yeah, I do think it is disfiguring. I think that these people are also making choices. The people getting the tattoos are making the choice. I think they're probably going to regret it. And I think the style is dumb, boring, and way less interesting than like a million different things you could do to completely change the viewpoint of tattoo culture views. That's it. That's it. That's what like bothers me the most, is that people actually try to do this type of stuff and make an impact in tattooing. And it's like, you could do this a million other ways. And this is just kind of like the most boring, lazy, half-assed version of growth in tattooing. And I think that like what will be most interesting for me will be kind of like the people who take this and go, that's garbage. And maybe they don't like traditional tattooing. And I'm talking about like neo-trad, traditional American, Japanese, black and gray. Like maybe they're not interested in the main 6 genres of tattooing. And so they build other paths. But like, let's not pretend like the garbage was anything more than garbage. Next. Now, you might be sitting at home being like, ooh, what's he gonna say about this? This is the opposite of garbage, okay? This takes a talented person, and honestly, like far more impressed with something as boring and as simple as this than I would be of any tattoo we just seen or kind of can see. This is extremely talented tattooing. That is talented. Because like you put this design in front of 100 tattooers, 5 are gonna do this quality of tattooing. That includes myself. That includes every single person we've talked about today, and it probably includes every tattooer you've ever been tattooed by. This is an extremely difficult tattoo to pull off, and this is what defines talent in tattooing. Now, difficulty isn't the only thing in tattooing that defines talent, right? It's like difficulty, like when you see something and you're like, oh wow, that is just like objectively a hard thing to pull off. Or, wow, that is really creative and really interesting in the way they played with these different things. Talent isn't, I got hit by a bus and this is what I could produce with my right toe while I was in the ambulance, okay? Now, this is a thing. They're putting dermals inside of a tattoo. Do I hate it? Not really. Do I like it? No, not at all. What's always funny to me is whenever these piercers do these dermals, they never get the eyes lined up. Like they always seem to make the image cross-eyed. Is it a thing you should try and get tattooed? Probably not. I don't think a dermal in your arm is gonna last very long. I'm not an expert in this field. I do own a piercing shop. You'd think, hey Kirk, you should probably have a better understanding of the stuff you have a business for. That's on me. Sorry, I'm bad at caring about piercing. But I also know that they probably aren't gonna last very well in the arm. So, worst boss ever, this guy. Best tattoo critiquer guy, probably not this guy, but I'll try. On to the next. Wow, this is gonna hurt your stomach a little bit. The way he's pulling at this tattoo and you see how it's still very much attached to very fresh skin and they're just ripping that thing off inch by inch by inch. Awful, probably centimeter by centimeter by centimeter, but inch by inch by inch. I'm a picker. I'm a tat picker. So I'm the worst guy in the world to be telling you what to do with your tats, but I can very clearly tell you not to do this. There is a wasp in here. Wasps are the worst, dude. Is that a wasp? I don't know what that is. It's probably gonna be, I'm probably gonna get dengue. Pray for me out there in YouTube world. I got a scab right now on my knee. I wanna pick it always. I always have scabs. I'm a scabby boy. I'm always getting hurt, kind of. Not really, but yeah, often. Yeah, it happens a lot. This is not what you should do with your tattoos. I don't think I need to tell you that. I just wanted to enjoy this moment of discomfort with you. Enjoy, on to the next.
So I was a tattoo artist for 10 years, and I keep seeing this fad where people are asking them why they're so abrasive when they're asked to do their jobs. And there's a lot of diplomatic and patient responses from tattoo artists that I'm assuming don't want to lose clientele in a harsh economic climate. And I get that. I've been there. However, I don't have to tattoo anymore, nor do I want to. So I'm going to give you the honest answer. And it's very short. It's exactly what you think it is. Your ideas are garbage, and your references are terrible. You Googled something and brought in the second thing that popped up and expected a miracle to happen. You're talking as someone that wants to express themselves through an interesting artistic form, and you want to be a part of a fad. So the chasm between both of those is pretty dense. I don't think actually that that's going to be bridged anytime soon. It's been an issue for like 5 years. Social media and Pinterest is probably to blame. But if you're getting a lot of pushback on your ideas from people who are literally starving right now, that shows that they would rather not pay their light bill than tattoo you. So maybe sit down and think about it. This is a client side issue. And this is coming from someone who couldn't care less. I don't care how the tattoo artists are doing. I don't care how the clients are doing. Personally, I'm done with that industry completely. But the truth is, it's a client problem. You want terrible ideas, and tattoo artists are trying to have some semblance of integrity in a tough economic time. And instead of anyone yielding on it, it's just imploding an industry. Not a great time. But yeah, it's you. Okay, love you. Bye.
I actually completely 100% disagree with this guy. Was just watching to make sure that I fully disagree, and I do, mostly because, so why I think he's wrong in a couple different layers and levels and places. One, I think he's wrong when he's describing how the tattoo climate is currently. I disagree with. That isn't a new thing in tattooing. Tattooers have always had to do tattoos that they probably didn't want to do. That is just like the nature of tattooing. You think the guy in the 1950s who had to tattoo a bunch of Marines wanted to tattoo another eagle? Really? Do you think that that's how this works? You think that he was like waking up every moment and being like, I want to do 50 eagles today? Probably not. okay? In your head, you're like, oh, eagles. Eagle equals traditional. Traditional equals cool. Therefore, tattooer love doing eagles. And it's like, one, that traditional term that you just used in your head to verify that you like something actually didn't exist back then. He would have just seen, hey, eagle, I've done 20 eagles this week. Do I want to do another eagle? No. In his head, he's not even thinking kind of about like what I want to do. So it's very easy for us to be like, oh, in the past 5 years with the creation of the internet, with the creation of Pinterest, clients and tattooers have this disconnect. No, I don't believe it for a moment. I'm way more likely to believe that human nature is human nature is human nature. So like in the 90s, do you think the tattooer was really stoked about doing tribal on that girl's back? No. Was he probably excited about the money? Yes. In the 50s, do you think the tattooer was excited about a panther? Probably not, but he was excited about the money. And in today's age, you think I'm excited to do your Pinterest script? No, but I'm excited about the money, right? That part has been true probably forever. Now, that doesn't mean that the guy in the 50s wasn't excited about some tattoos, obviously. It's not about like the guy in the 90s wasn't excited about some tattoos, obviously. And it's not like I'm not excited about plenty of different tattoos. So the problem isn't that the clients are just picking bad crap. As clients pick bad crap forever. Just what was ever trendy at that moment they got and whatever. The real problem in tattooing is the imbalance of like having to do things you don't want to do as a tattooer versus how much it takes to survive as a tattooer. That is probably the only thing I can think of that is really why tattooers are so mean, right? Like in the 90s, you had to do a lot of tramp stamps to pay your bills and to get ahead. In the 50s, you had to do a lot of Panthers to pay your bills and get ahead. Today, you got to do a lot of fine line to pay your bills and get ahead. As tattooers, you're going to have to do things you don't want to do. And that is just the nature of it. And also, tattooers are kind of naturally people who don't want to do that. Like we didn't get 9-to-5 jobs. We didn't go into the office place, even knowing that that job would have been a million times more secure. We chose this really abstract, weird career that we thought would fulfill our souls. And then we find out, hey, you got to do some crap you don't want to do. That is it. That is the disconnect. That is why tattooers are mean. I have to imagine. I just can't think of it as being like, why are tattooers so mean? Because the clients suck. No matter how nicely you say it and no matter how well versed you are in speaking, doesn't change the fact that that is still a stupid way to see the world, okay? And maybe you shouldn't be taking that advice from a guy who decided to quit tattooing and clearly does not care about tattoo industry or culture or anything else. He said that. He's like, I have nothing to do with this anymore. And then he has like the most, it's your fault I quit tattooing type of viewpoint. And you go, oh, no, that's dumb. Okay, on to the next. What is also dumb is this tattoo. I don't like it. I don't like it, but that's about all I got to say about this. I had a whole scheme. I was going to be like talking earlier about the things I liked. I was going to be like, here's 20 tattoos I like. Here's 5 I don't like. I got very lazy. I didn't end up doing that at all. And I just got one that I don't like. So that's where we're ending it. I've mentioned this guy in the past. I probably wouldn't have mentioned him again. But hey, that is the world we live in, where I went to go do a thing. I got very lazy. I didn't do it. Okay? Bye.